was
So, Mr. Campos, again, we want to, good afternoon to you and thank you for agreeing to be part of this interview. The project is called Sembradores de Aztlán Oral History Project here in Houston, and we started in 2011. But tell us how you got involved with the Little School of 400 in a little bit. But first, tell us who your parents were on your mom and your father's side.
They were born in Mexico, the state of Zacatecas, a little town, Fresnillo, and they came over. My father came first, and then when he got situated in Baytown and got a job with the Humble Oil and Refinery, he went back to get my mother.
Okay.
And she came and established in Baytown. They bought some property and they made a home there.
Okay.
And I was born in Baytown, and most of my brothers and sisters were born in that area,
Sure.
Baytown.
And what was your father's name and your mother's name?
Jose Campos and Maria Ramos Campos.
Okay. And on your mother's side, what were her grandparents' names? Her parents?
I don't remember, but they were in Fresnillo in the state of Zacatecas, and
Okay.
they're sort of farmers, not a big place, but they did their own gardens I remember they had chili peppers, and my mother made a lot of tortillas, but that's about all I remember in that age.
So they were from the state of Zacatecas. Okay. So you were born in Bay City.
Baytown.
Baytown, excuse me. And what schools did you go to in Baytown?
I went to the elementary de Zavala, Lorenzo de Zavala Elementary.
Okay.
And from there went to Baytown Junior High.
Okay.
And then from there, Robert E. Lee High School. And from Robert E. Lee, I was lucky enough to pass the entrance exam at Baylor University, and spent about 5 years in Baylor because there were a lot of things going on, and you get involved in those kind of things. But I graduated from Baylor in 1950.
Wow, 1950. And what was your major?
Education.
Okay.
I could see that the Hispanic youngster needed an education.
Okay.
And I met some people in that category of education, elementary. That's when I got in touch with Mr. Tijerina, Felix Tijerina. And it so happens that the man he had money, and he bought himself a airplane, him and some friends, and we traveled all over the country.
On an airplane? Wow.
So
where did you meet Mr. Tijerina for the first time, Mr. Campos?
I met Felix at they had a pachanga. Felix had a lot of friends, and they followed him because he had money, and he bought tickets everywhere, and he was instrumental in getting the comic from Mexico. What's the name?
Cantinflas?
Cantinflas.
Okay.
He brought Cantinflas to a baseball game in the old Oilers Stadium in Houston, and made good friends, real personal friends Cantinflas.
So to be clear, where did you meet Mr. Tijerina for the first time?
For the first time I met Felix at a LULAC meeting in Sugar Land.
Okay,
He had some property in Sugar Land,
okay,
and he had a home, and the people followed him
okay,
because he was instrumental in getting all the youngsters back to school. 'Cause at that age, as soon as they could, they were out working,
okay,
and he tried to get them back to school. And his concern was that they didn't understand any English whatsoever when they went to school.
okay,
And so he had a preschool program.
okay,
And we used to go out and buy pencils and tablets and get them during the summer and teach them the fundamentals. That's where he had, we thought he had a bunch of little schools, but the idea that the 400 basic words that are the teachers in Baytown we visited, and it was the idea that any youngster that wants to do all right in school, they have to have at least 400 basic words. Basic words, siéntate, sit down, stand up, raise your hand, dress and comb, and those basic words.
So did you consider Mr. Tijerina an organizer or a leader or both?
Both. He was a leader. Like I said, he had the money. He bought into an airplane so we could fly all over the state, especially in the valley. And he was involved when the braceros came. He was involved in getting them in the right community, that the community had the facilities for those kind of people. Because you bring braceros and they're Spanish speaking.
Yes.
And he had to get them people involved that knew the language and could get along with them.
Okay.
Because when braceros come in, well, they don't have a thing. They don't have anything. And he had to get like Alfred Hernandez, Felix Salazar, those people that knew and could get around in the community to get teachers.
Okay.
And we were in Ganado. Well, he used to send me to Ganado, Edna, Texas City, Victoria, all those places to teach them the basic words so that when they started school, they could at least understand what the teacher was instructing them.
Sure.
So, no, Mr. Guerrera did a lot.
So to be clear, Mr. Campos, when did you start with LULAC and what was your position within LULAC?
Well,
What year did you start with LULAC?
in LULAC, we started in Baytown, and it was just a means of getting the community together.
Okay. Okay.
At that time, even in the Hummel Oil and Refinement Company, they had a toilet for the Hispanic, one for the blacks, and one for the white. Everything was, everybody had an opportunity, but they still were not integrated. They were parts.
Okay.
And it was good. It's fine. You get a bunch of Mexicanos and they can't speak any English, well, you gotta have somebody to guide them. And
So, what year did you join LULAC?
and well, I figure that I must have been at least 25 years old when
Okay.
we started to organize there in Baytown.
Mm-hmm.
the League of United Latin American Citizens, and we were able to open up the roads into education, because that was our main purpose.
Okay. And did you have a position within LULAC?
No, I just a member of the
Okay.
LULAC.
Okay.
Later on, when I was with Felix, well, I was one of the coordinators, and because I was close to him, anytime that that something was going to happen, they would call me. Because Felix, unfortunately, he was a millionaire, multi-millionaire, but he didn't know any English. He didn't know how to write, and everything that had to be done, I did it, and everything. And so, but he had the money, and like some people used to say, money talks.
So, were you working as a coordinator full-time or part-time with the Little School of 400?
Well, no, they came to me full-time, because it was a big, well, to me it was a large segment of the state. You get Ganado and all those little towns, Edna, and all the way to Laredo, and come on in back through Killeen and all those places. They need it, especially in the valley. In the valley, they brought in the braceros because they couldn't, the people couldn't understand the locals here were, as soon as they got the job, they wanted to get on the side and get, well, I don't think they had food stamps at that time, but they wanted something in return for what they had done for this country.
So you started helping the Little School of 400 in Baytown?
Right.
Okay. Do you remember where in Baytown you started this program?
Well, they used to call it El Bote. El Bote, I guess because it was the low, living place for the Hispanic, and most of them worked with humble oil, but still they had to spend all that good money in living and bringing the people from Mexico. They brought in all the families, and they started building and getting involved, and that's when I got started too. I saw all those people suffering and not understanding the English, and the police. The police would look for me because they had a bunch of them incarcerated Hispanics. And I had to go down there, and what happened? Well, they were stealing babies' shoes for the family. They were, they were trying to make it. And I was involved with that, helping them get money to pay for all those things that they were stealing, but still, it's a huge, big, too many people.
So the Little School of 400 was also teaching the families that came in from the Bracero program?
Right, that was the main purpose.
Okay.
The main purpose, because they come in, they got to have something before they go into the first grade or the kindergarten, and they had that was our main purpose, to teach them the fundamentals, the 400 basic words that you need. That's what you need to understand the teachers. You get a bunch of gringas teachers that don't understand any Spanish, and they go and do the best, and if you don't help the kids understand what they say, sit down and get up, I go to the restroom, and all that sort of stuff.
So what do you think was your biggest accomplishment, Mr. Campos, that first year when you were teaching in Baytown? What do you think was your biggest accomplishment that you can remember?
Well, being able to go into the first grade and be a successful kindergarten graduate, and that was my main concern. Once you get to teach them the basic words, to understand the instructions of the teachers, you got it made. Because if you get a good teacher there and a bunch of 20 25 Hispanics don't understand any English, and she's going to have a problem. And it was our main idea was to teach them at least 400 basic words so they could get along with the rest of the children. And it was a job. It was a job, and like I said, I say thank you to Felix Tejerina for what he did.
Okay.
He bought into a plane so we could fly here and there all over. When we were involved in the valley, anywhere where the Hispanics came in from Mexico, they were the ones that we were trying to get so they could continue their education.
So tell us who's in this picture, Mr. Campos, and where did this picture, where was it taken?
With Price Daniel, when Price Daniel came over to see Felix, and we got together, and he okayed the program. He liked the idea. He liked the idea, and not only Price Daniel, but there are other people. Dr. Edgar, a young man named Kennedy, not the big family, but they were able to start the schools with the 400 basic words.
So where did this picture take place? Do you remember, Mr. Campos?
I couldn't tell you. They had so many pictures.
Sure.
Okay. But Price Daniel was one of the governors that was instrumental in helping Felix and Alfred Hernandez. And Alfred Hernandez was the #1 man after Felix. Alfred was very good.
Well, what was his major contribution, Judge Alfred Hernandez?
He's trying to get all the children in school. His main job was to, he was a compadre of Felix, and his main job was to get those kids in school, get them, go find them. And like I said, Edna Ganado and all those little Warden, all those little places, they came in, and they were kind of hiding because they were afraid of the local citizens, because right away, if you didn't understand any English, well, they will take you back and take you back, and they didn't want that.
So there was some positive outcomes of the little school of 400 that you didn't think were going to happen. But what surprised you the most of that project in terms of what it accomplished?
Well,
that you didn't expect.
No, well, we didn't expect the program to grow so that they wanted in Wisconsin, in Minnesota. They asked for it, and Felix, like I said, he would send myself and some other folks to go in and implant or teach the citizens. So those, Minnesota, Chicago was a big place where we spent lots of time, and like I said, Felix spent lots of money in those places.
So in Minnesota, who was your contact there? In Chicago, who was your contact? Can you name us some of the contacts in those states?
And there was a young lawyer that Felix got him appointed to a judge, because everybody would call Felix, who do you recommend? And we used to get the best, because take them over and show them to the community. And we kind of instruct them to start organizing like the LULAC, because they need that. So they need it. If you don't know how to or understand English, you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place.
So do you remember the names of those persons that y'all work with in Chicago and Minnesota, by any chance?
There was a young man, Val Hernandez, and he lived outside of Chicago. And he worked, he was an electrician, and he did a lot. He spent a lot of his own money.
Mm-hmm.
He would call me, hey, I want you to go to, well, send me some money. He sent money, and I'd go, but I couldn't go just because I want to go. So get in the car, and like I said, the first thing you gotta do is you gotta have a pencil and a tablet and some colors, and start from the beginning. What does the child needs? He wants to color, he wants to draw a horse, or all that sort of stuff. And we did it, but it cost Mr. Tigarina and Alfred Hernandez. There was another young man, Felix Salazar, that used to travel. We used to travel together, and I think we did a great job there.
So when you went to Chicago, Mr. Campos, did you go by airplane or by ground?
No, we drove.
Okay.
We drove. We drove it,
Okay.
and we get there and find a little place. Or like I said, Val Hernandez, he knew a lot of people there. It's been so long, but I used to know the judges. The Mexicanos got appointed, and they would call, and we have somebody here, we have a vacancy, who do you recommend? And I was involved there, and I said, so-and-so. There's a bunch of good folks.
Okay.
They live in Chicago, Mexicanos,
Okay.
outside of Chicago, and I forgot the names of the towns, but they were there.
So did Mr. Hernandez in Chicago, did he start a LULAC chapter there, or there was already a chapter there?
No. He went after I got people together. Get over there and let them know what we needed.
Okay.
You gotta have a charter. You gotta go to the people. You gotta go to the city hall and talk to them. You just don't organize. I think you're a revolutionary. So no, you had to open up with a local. And like I said, there were some Hispanic judges that got appointed because of Felix and Al Hernandez. And
So you mentioned Minnesota, Mr. Campos. Who was your contact in Minnesota, do you remember?
there was a young lady, Berber, and
In Minnesota?
yeah.
Wasn't she from Ganado?
It probably had, like I said, people went on there from all over the state.
Sure.
And I remember Alfred Hernandez, and he introduced me to many people there.
Sure.
Because he knew the people that were coming to work, and the Judge Hernandez and Felix Salazar and Felix Tigarina, Ernest Seguia, all those people, they did a lot of work. And they get together and drive over there. And we had, in Chicago especially, they had little functions, and they invited all the dignitaries and introduced the Hispanics. They didn't know there were so many Hispanics, because we took the best. We took the best down
Sure.
there.
Yeah.
And
So let's talk a little bit about Isabel Berber. What qualities did you see in her that made her a good candidate to teach?
when we started in Ganado, she came over and she was interested, very interested, and that's when we started to get donations to get the basic tablets and colors. Because a child in school, the first thing he wants to do color horse or whatever. And we'd get them tablets and pencils and the basic things. And Alfred Hernandez and Felix Salazar, they would go and talk to the community. We get them community, the leaders, local leaders. We say, you need to get together in the summertime, getting ready to go to school. Well, not enough part of the country, as soon as the child grows up able to walk around, they put to work. They put to work. And I mean, you had to. But Felix Salazar and Alfred Hernandez, they would go with me to Ganado and Edna, all those little towns, and organize and get them together and buy the fundamental things that child needs. But after a while, the people in those towns, they knew what was going on. They needed preschool education for the child, and they would get together and did their own things.
So, with regards to Isabel Berber, do you remember that first day that she came to apply for this job? And where did that take place? Do you remember?
Well, it was not in Edna, or it was a little town just outside of Wharton. And she came out and she was instrumental. She liked education. She helped us. And she got the community together. We used to go down there and get them going. And once they learned the fundamentals of why we were there, they would keep going. Oh no, you give the Hispanic in that area or in that time an opportunity. They see that education is number one, they'd go for it. But they got to see something that this education does for our people.
Okay. So when y'all had graduation ceremonies, where did some of those graduation events take place?
Well, when they got out of high school, and we were able to get them in some of the local schools, local preschool or college, well, fundamental, they needed those things, and they were surprised that they were admitted. But they were admitted because we were there with the lawyers, and they could speak and introduce the community and all that stuff. No, and it cost money to get all those people and those ranchos together and educate at least one or two of them to be the leaders. And it took money, it took time. I spent a lot of time down there. They thought I was a member of the community, but it took time, and they want to see you. Who are you? Well, right as soon as you say I'm with Felix de Garina, they knew he had a ranch over there in Sugar Land, and he opened up a Mexican restaurant there and gave a bunch of them jobs.
In Sugar Land?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And the community knew him. He was a Rotarian, Felix, and he was, like I said, people wondered, how did he become president of LULAC 4 consecutive years, and didn't know English or how to speak? Well, the money. And he had people with him. Like I said, Hernandez and Salazar, and they would go with him. and help him out and introduce him and talk to the community and spend the night there. No. Like I said, you can't get away with the idea that you gotta have that money.
So with regards to the little school of 400, Mr. Campos, what is a piece of history that the public doesn't know about that you would like to share with us?
The basic or the purpose of that is to get them, prepare them. They come out of the community to go to the elementary school, not knowing a word in English, and it was our main concern that it was going there don't understand the teacher. They go home and I don't want to go back to school. I don't know what they're talking about. And so our main purpose was to get them to the basic words, what do you need? Sit down, stand up, go to the restroom, the basic. And
Sure.
they get along there with the rest of the kids, and before they know it, they were the leaders there. And this lady, Berber from Edna Ganado, she did a lot. She spent lots of time in the summer preparing the children for first grade. That's when they started the kindergarten, because the Hispanics they needed that. They needed. If you don't understand what the teachers tell you to sit down and get up, where's your paper? You're in a lot of trouble before you start.
So with regards to your military, Mr. Campos, you mentioned that when you were serving in Belgium, Adolf Hitler was in the vicinity, right?
Yeah.
How did you know that he was in the vicinity, and what happened to Adolf Hitler there?
The people in those little towns, they didn't like him, but unfortunately, he was the only one that had the money to help out in those communities, and there were people there didn't like, because he was killing a lot of Jewish folks. He had a prison and a bunch of those, put him on a train, and he lied to them that we're going to take you over here to a better place, and they fill up the trains, and he got rid of us. Before you know it, he's too many people. What are you going to do?
So in other words, how did you find out that Adolf Hitler was there in Belgium? How did you find out?
Well, we were after him, and when we got into the town, some of the leaders in there would tell us, there's a man here that he's not doing any good. He doesn't like somebody, he'll kill him or put him on a train and take him someplace else, and we don't like that. And so we got after him, and we were close to him. Like I said, but the local folks, they got hold of Mussolini and hung him. And then they were after Adolf Hitler, and they couldn't find him because that man he knew where to hide, and he had a lot of folks working for him.
So what branch of service were you in, Mr. Campos, and what was your designation in the military?
I was with the United States paratroopers. I was a paratrooper. I jumped out of a plane. We made jump in Italy, and then we got together and got our equipment ready to go, and we made a jump in Belgium, and that's where we got stuck in the ice. It was cold. That's kind of cold weather down there. It's cold, and we were able to. Well, we didn't catch him, but we were able to find out where he was, and the people from Belgium, they got together, and they caught him, Before you know it, he saw that everything was closing on him, so he took poison. He didn't want nobody to hang me, so he took poison. And before we knew it, what happened? Where is he? So like people in this Belgium got hold of him, and he took the poison, and that was it. What happened to his body, I don't know. We got together in a train, and they took us to close to the border of Channel, the English Channel, and we didn't go over to in London. From there we were waiting. They put us on a freight. It was the shape of the boats that would take us there. We didn't have the only place when we got into an airplane was to jump, and so we didn't have to jump there. We were going to move, and they moved us to I forgot the little town on the English Channel, and from there we got on a big old boat, and they brought us to the United States, getting ready to go to Japan. That's what we want to do. Well, at that age, at 18, 19 years old, you want to travel. Yeah, let's go.
So when you got into the military, what was your age at that time?
I got to be 18, and they got hold of me. Let's go. Before I know it, I was in the Army in San Antonio, and from San Antonio they sent me to North Carolina, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. That's where we got the basics for the paratroopers, and from there they sent us to Europe, to Italy.
So share with us, Mr. Campos, when you feared your life for the first time when you were in the military. Where did that happen?
In Italy. Yeah, in Italy we got off from one end of Italy, and we were on the ground. There was no fancy cars or trains to take us. We did a lot of traveling. We was at least 6 months going by foot all the way to the border of Belgium. From there we, like I said, got our equipment. Paratroopers, you know, you got to have a good equipment. You got to have it, not big guns, but enough to, when you jump with your whatever you got and go do the fighting. And so that was the main purpose of going to the Italian, and from there they put on a plane and we jumped in Belgium. We had enemy lines, and it was cold, terrible. I told my folks there, I don't want to go through this anymore. And sure enough, we would come back to here, we're fighting North Korea, fighting over here and over there. But we did our job.
So what happened where you feared your life when you were in the military? What exactly happened? Did somebody shoot you, or you were hungry? What was it that happened to you that you said, I'm fearing my life?
No, well, like I said, the cold weather in you got there and you had to dance, you had to move because it's so cold, and that was it. I told my folks there, man, I hope I never come through this again.
Okay. So in short, how long were you in the military?
I was in the military 3 years.
3 years, okay. Okay.
After
And all the
that-
3 years were as a paratrooper?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And after that, we got into Baylor University and made some friends there with the teachers, and able to get my degree, and came back to Baytown and did my work with the preschool children, because I knew that was the main idea, to get those kids ready.
Sure.
Why should you have a bunch of kids and take them to school, the first grade, and don't understand the teacher? So we had a preschool program.
So, with regards to the little school of 400, do you have any personal collections, any documents, any pictures that you have in your collection that we could look at sometime?
Well, I'd have to look. I've got some pictures there, but I have to look and get them together. You keep in touch with me, and I'll see what I got.
Okay, all right. Do you have anything else you want to add to this interview, Mr. Campos, before we finish?
No. Like I said, I don't want to go through that anymore. I don't want to go through that. It's terrible. You get out there and I was a Eagle Scout when 18 years old, and they put me on the plane, and you learn something in the Boy Scouts, and God is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, cheerful, and then you go there and get in a plane, and they give you a 30 caliber that you could help.
Yeah.
And they say, when you get out of the plane, you kill. And you're out here with the Boy Scouts and friendly, courteous, kind, and then they kick you out of the plane, kill. And they sure enough, you gotta kill somebody. But I saw a lot of Hispanics in el suelo, on the floor, they got killed before we got there.
Pues, señor Campos, muchas gracias. Bendiciones a usted y su familia. And you're looking great for being in the 90s. ¿Verdad?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, 95, 96,
Okay.
August 21st, 1923. And I went through a lot. Like I said, my biggest problem was in the service, Belgium, especially that cold weather.
Sure.
No, manito, ya frío era frío. No, yeah, don't stand up. Don't, hey, baila.
Yeah.
Move around. And, no, te lavas todo. El agua del canteen era hielo.
So, if you can gather those photos or news, whatever you have relating to the little school of 400, and maybe we can come back and look at that.
Bueno,
See?
I see what look in my portfolio, my things, and I see what I've got, and I'm ready for you. Just keep in touch with me.
Con permiso, señor.
Pásale.
Muchas gracias.
Igualmente.